Alright guys, welcome back to 'Cause We Can. Today we're going to do the 'Cause We Can high efficiency wood boiler. I drew this on the board here for you so I can take you through what I plan on doing. We'll see what I run into, what changes. I'm sure it's going to be a lot. Never built one before. Go big or go home, and it's going to try to do it right the first time. So, the yellow's hard to see. I drew it in there to represent the hot, the firebox, and the secondary reaction chamber. Blue is water, and black is everything else. So, let me take you through this. This is the front view. In here, which you can probably just see the yellow highlight with black there, but that is the firebox. Underneath here is a secondary burn chamber. So the fan on the door is going to blow air. There is no chimney coming out of the top of this. It's going to blow air into the firebox, which will force it out through the bottom, through the slots I made it, force all the smoke down through the hot coals into a small area, which will force it down, add fresh air, and it's supposed to reignite. Gasification, secondary burn, whatever you want to call it. It's surrounded by the water jacket. Then we come down here to the side view, get the main firewood door. Reaction chamber, secondary burn chamber doors. Air is forced into the burn chamber, the firewood chamber, burn chamber we'll call it, which will force air down through the hole I provide. This here, adding air, fresh, clean air into the bottom of the burn chamber to add fresh air. You got the heat from the hot coals, fresh air from here, and smoke being pushed down through, causing a secondary burn into here, the reaction chamber. This here I should swirl around, help heat up the walls, which are 1/4 inch steel, which in turn heats up the water. And here I already got 2 drawn, but these 2 are chimneys. So hot, I'm thinking 2-inch pipe coming up through the water, which should draw the heat off of it into just going to go to 1/4 inch steel box with a door on top of it, so I could open it up, push down a small chimney sweep down through the pipes to clean them. And then I got my regular chimney coming out. Now, if this works the way it's supposed to, what all my research says, should be getting up about 2,000 degrees down here for that secondary burn. So the main portion, the hardest part of this, the one I've put a lot of thought into, is how to build it. The well's got to be perfect. It's going to be waterproof. Sort of pointless if there's water falling into the firebox or the secondary burn chamber. Just put the fire out. And I'm losing water. So, my plan is I'm going to build the firebox, secondary burn chamber outside, get it all welded up. Then I'm going to slip it into the water chamber. I'll put some feet on it, slip it into there, and push it all the way back in until my secondary burn chamber hits the back wall. Get in there, trace it, cut it out, then make it stick out a little bit further. And then the front of the tank is obviously cut off because I had to slip this in there. Then I cut out for the door, the secondary burn chamber. weld it all up. So I should have to weld here and here, and it should be all sealed up. Welding this outside instead of trying to crawl in there and weld it gives me a better guarantee that it won't leak. Better welds. I believe that's all I got to tell you for now. So I'm going to get to work. I actually already got some of this done, but we'll organize the video for you so you can see it step by step. I will try not to bore to death by talking. I will just jump back in if my plans change or if there's something that I ran into that I didn't think about yet, and let you know. So if you're going to build one, by all means. So you can see I'm already dirty. My face is probably nasty. I got a lot of the metal already cut out and prepped, so let's get to it.
Ah, that's hot. That's hot.
Okay, so sorry about that. Had some camera issues. Did get the bottom enclosure plate, whatever you want to call it, all welded in, nice and solid. I cut down the length of the firebox and cut here. This is where the air will be forced down. The smoke, air, and fresh air mixes and it causes secondary burn. Now, after I cut this, I realized that's probably too big, which is fine for testing phases. I'll put some metal in here to shrink the hole to find the ultimate size, and the inlet of fresh air I'll be able to adjust to find the ultimate size. And then when it's all said and done, I have it all figured out, tuned up, tuned in, and working perfect. I'll actually line this with some refractory cement, which I bought to build a forge and I never finally used, but it is sitting right there. So, bam, that stuff. Supposed to be really good stuff. So, now I think it's time to put the secondary burn chamber on the bottom, or onto the burn chamber, and keep things moving. 1.25 legs. So just did that to get a rough idea of the legs. Need water to come underneath so it catches heat off of the secondary burn chamber. But I don't have a whole lot of room in here to fit the firebox and the secondary chamber. It's really tight. It's just what I got to work with. So with the curvature, 1.25 legs on here. So when I slip it in, it isn't blocking the water from coming underneath. That way it gets at least 1.25 worth of water flow. So the heat, hot water can rise, cold water can fall. Make sense?
So you do have a plan. Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science. Okay.
Let's do it.
Born to be wild.
Now, how do I move it? Alright then, that worked. Now we're looking at the back of the firebox. Right here. Make a plate comes across and the holes for the exhaust pipes coming up. Now, I could just do one big thing coming up. However, I figure if I separate it into different ones, it'll help the water absorb the heat more efficiently. So once that's done, firebox, secondary burn chamber is all ready to go, and we slip it inside the water jacket. Alright, so got two 4-inch steel pipes. Looks like 3/16 wall, which I like. I'm thinking if it's too thick, it would absorb too much of the heat, or maybe a thicker hold the heat, but I'm going to go with it. 20-inch sections. I did my math. And yeah, we're getting to a point where I almost put the one inside the other.
That's what she said.
Michael!
Alright, so next step. I'm going to go inside the firebox and weld up inside around the back. That's already welded on the outside, but really want to be sure that this thing ain't going to leak water, seep water, or whatever you want to call it. So what I have here is my redneck air mover. So it goes into my face mask. So that's the first time using it. I actually built it for this project. So we're going to see how it works out.
Come on.
They work great. Okay, so day 3 of the fab work. To weld on the chimney flue pipes heat exchanger. Then it's time to start sticking this puppy into the water jacket. Now, if you notice, we cleaned up a bit last night, and Alex helped me manhandle this thing back here. It's up on the pallet jack. This is the one thing I was worried about when I was planning this, is how am I going to get this heavy thing into that heavy thing. But I think we have a plan. Stick it halfway in, then ratchet strap it in. Then it comes to welding on the water jacket. So, yeah, here we go. Sorry you missed that, but it's actually going easier than I thought. Alright, so it's in there. Got to cut out the back, get it to stick through a little bit. You know, even out the wherever I want everything. That went incredibly smooth. Sorry you missed some of that, but I literally just used a pallet jack, slid it in part way, lowered it, moved back the blocks, jacked it up, pushed it in some more. And you see what I did there to finish it off. That worked really damn well. I thought I was going to get ratchet straps and be struggling with this thing. I still might. Okay, back's in now. Levels match. That's what she looks like in the front. Time to put the front back water jacket hatch, door, side, and whatever you want to call it back on.